What's up guys, my name is JDCut5 and welcome to the Chelsea vs Servette preview for the Europa League Conference Leg 1 playoff. Before we do get into this video, it'd be much appreciated if you haven't done so already to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification button so you never miss a video. Chelsea's first game in the new formed Europa League Conference fixture, something that I didn't expect myself to say, but here we are. Going to be a bit of a change, it has to be said, playing against Servette, the team from Geneva. Don't really know too much about them myself. Having a look, they are in the Swiss League with a few names that I've seen before. Basel, one with kind of big team in the Swiss League, but yeah, they're not exactly kind of the biggest side themselves. In all honesty, a little kind of looking up and seeing they don't have many players that have got any sort of value. I think their highest value player is about 2 million, if I'm right in saying. So they're a very low budget team. Obviously saying they're still obviously doing well to be able to get in some sort of European competition themselves. They've actually played 5 games in their league as at the moment. They've won 3 of them and lost 2. Currently sitting 5th with 9 points. So they haven't had too much of a bad start, but it doesn't seem to be that a lot of the other teams have played around. So I think they probably will drop down the table as things go on. But in terms of this European fixture itself, a new one for Chelsea, as I mentioned. It should being the operative word, an easy game. It's interesting to see what will actually be the lineup itself, and obviously I'll go to that in detail. The actual squad has been released for the Conference League fixture to who actually will be in the matchday squad itself. Interesting to see it just going through. Sanchez, Jorgensen, Bettinelli, Disasi, Cucurella, Tosin, Badiashile, James, Gusto, Vega, Fernandez, Madueke, Chukwuemeka, Nkuku, Palmer, Dewsbury Hall, Caicedo, Lavia, Pedro Neto, Mudryk, Nicholas Jackson and Mark Goy. So an interesting selection. I'm not too sure on Reece James because I'm pretty sure he isn't actually fit from what Enzo Maresca said in his press conference. He said a very few interesting things in the press conference in terms of the whole team. If you haven't already seen that, definitely worth a look. But I feel like it will be a good fixture for ourselves to kind of get the season started to an extent. It's always going to be hard playing on the Thursday and then playing on the weekend. Predominantly our games on the weekend are either going to be Sunday or they'll be switched to the week after, we're being actually starting on the Monday. So it's going to be tough, don't get me wrong. I feel like there's going to be a big rotation inside. As I said, I'll get into that in time. It'll be a big kind of starting point for ourselves to kind of get going and just being able to kind of get the ball rolling in terms of the system that we're going to have and just get some goals behind them as well to kind of gain the confidence. I think obviously coming off the back of the defeat against Manchester City, things aren't easy. It's a big process nevertheless, but it's not going to be easy for ourselves to be able to kind of pick ourselves up and go again. So if we are able to do so, then I feel like we'll help ourselves in a lot of ways, that is for certain. But let's get into the lineup that I have got for this particular game. And obviously it's going to be a different lineup to what we usually kind of seen, but I feel like there's needed for changes and I feel like it'll be wise to do so. So in goal, I've gone for Jorgensen. I feel like it's something to be able to see if he is going to use his second keeper. Predominantly, I wouldn't have thought we would assign a keeper from Villarreal for the money that we have and just put him on the bench. So I'd like to see some introduction in the Conference League fixtures at least, because Sanchez in goal is bad enough as it is. Vega on the left-hand side, I feel like he will start. Cucurella picked up a knock against Manchester City, so I don't think we'll be seeing him feature whatsoever, even though he is in the actual squad itself. Badiashile and Disasi is a centre-back. Badiashile I can see starting, but I'm a little bit unsure on Disasi. In the recent kind of hours and a few days this has been, an actual inquiry has been made from Newcastle United to see the availability of Axel Disasi, so it's going to be interesting to see if he is going to be played or if it's going to be Tosin that's going to come in at centre-back, which I feel like it might be with the actual kind of things saying about Disasi. So interesting to see what will happen. Obviously, they'll be tracking that over the next few days. Malo Gusto on the right-hand side. Reece James obviously isn't fit enough to be able to play on the right-hand side, and I feel like he'll be going on the right back. Before I mentioned it as well, 4-2-3-1, I feel like he'll go on the same formation as we had the other day against Manchester City. In the middle, I've gone for Dewsbury Hall and Caicedo for the fact I feel like we'll give Fernandez a rest. Dewsbury Hall can get a game under his belt, and I feel like Caicedo is very good in that particular role. Madueke on the left-hand side, he didn't feature against Manchester City, so a player I'd like to see. Pedro Neto on the right-hand side also I'd like to be able to see if he can get some minutes. And Mikhailo Mudryk, I don't think there's any need to be able to play our strongest side against this lot for the simple fact is it's good for rotation and so on to see if the players can get minutes and bed themselves into the team even further into the season. And then up front, I've gone for Mark Guy. I feel like it's quite easy to be able to give Nicholas Jackson the rest. At the same time, I didn't think he was anything special against Man City also, so it's time to give someone else a little bit of a run out in that particular role. I feel like that would be wise to do so. But that is my lineup. It's not the strongest, as I mentioned, but I feel like it'll be good in giving players minutes and so on. I mean, I have to try out different systems. Obviously, you can see in the attacking front three there, we've got Madueke, Mudryk and Neto. I'd like to see that kind of alternate in that way. And what I mean is, I'd like to see players go on the left-hand side and switch to the right, kind of change. You could find Mudryk on the right, Madueke in the middle, Neto on the left-hand side. Change it round, confuse the play. It's time that we can kind of implement a system to see what we can do as a team going further on into the season and really, really get something going as a side. Otherwise it's going to be looking pretty bleak for us. There's no reason why we shouldn't win this game, but even so, we need to take it in kind of as an important game and a stepping stone in the right direction to see us win games further on into the season. Lastly, my score prediction for this particular tie would be Chelsea 2, Servette 0. I don't see any problems. I don't feel like it will be the best of games in terms of, obviously, if we're going to have such a large rotation, it always kind of mixes the system up, even though I don't feel like we've actually got anything really embedded as a squad and your real kind of strong 11 that you would normally see week in, week out on the pitch. But yeah, 2-0, I feel like that would be a good result. Take that into the second leg, build on it from there and see what we can do. There's no reason why I say we shouldn't win this particular fixture and proceed to the group stages where we can go even further on in our Conference League journey. It's a different trophy, I have to say. Is it something that excites me? No. If we were to get knocked out of it, would I be bothered? No. For the simple fact, I think it's just more games and it's just something that we just don't need as a club at the moment. I feel like we could have actually kind of been doing without it. I think Europa League would have been a really good stepping stone for us as a club and so on, because there is a competitive competition. But nevertheless, there are some stronger teams in the further fixtures as you go on in the calendar, as you go obviously through the rounds and so on. So it'll be interesting to see if we do ever come up against a decent side. But this is it for this particular preview. I'll do a review on the Thursday. The game isn't televised, so I'll be keeping up to date and trying to cover it the best as I possibly can. But this is it for this particular episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you never miss a video. Cheers.